let's get this show on the road. So really glad to have you guys here today. We don't have a huge audience, but I would encourage you guys to please raise your hand. So if you want to join in, like a small group is I'd rather have a small group that's engaged than a huge group that's not paying attention. So if you guys have anything you want to add or jump in, please do so. Just use the raise your hand button, that's down at the bottom of your controls, and I can unmute you. Would love to have interaction today. I'm really excited to have Jeremy O'Neill here today from AdvisorFix. Today's topic is driving revenue through next generation sales skills. And there's a lot of training that's out there on all sorts of things, but I think service advisor training is really important. So we'll get into that. A little bit about Jeremy. He started his career as a service advisor. He moved into service management at a dealership for VW, Audi, and Porsche, and basically just kind of took off from there. He was placed in the top 3% of all service advisors across the nation. He's really got a passion for helping others. And, because of this sort of acceleration, his desire to make things better, he started coaching service advisors in 2007. He's done over 20,000 hours of service advisor coaching with his clients. And sort of all of that led to him founding AdvisorFix in 2010, which really just has a mission of, helping shop owners and service advisors revolutionize their sales and customer service experience. He's currently the president and the lead sales trainer at AdvisorFix, and also an owner operator of Freedom Auto Repair in Southern California. And, through his training and his classes and coaching, he's worked with shops all across North America, really helping them to increase profits and get 5-star reviews. And I add the 5-star review part because I think, fixing the car is one thing. Getting reviews that showcase your service advisors and how they're servicing your customers is another thing. And I think something that people really look for. Personally, and we just discussed this before we hopped on, he's big into mountain biking. When he's not, mountain biking, he's spending time with his family and really just trying to figure out how to help people better their lives. And I say that sincerely because when we hopped on this morning, I said, "How are you doing today?" And he said, "Any day that I'm up here and waking up in the morning is a good day," which was much more ambitious and thankful than what I had to say. So without further ado, I'm going to pass things off to Jeremy and let him take it away. Again, please hop in, comment, question, challenge, disagree. All of those things are welcome. So let's have a discussion today. And without further ado, I'll pass things off to Jeremy. Jeremy, really glad to have you. Thanks for being on I almost said being on the show, but thanks for being on our webinar series.
Awesome, David. Thanks for having me. Just want to make sure we have an audio check and I'm good with the audio. So
yep, you're good to go. Awesome. I'm going to stop sharing. You can take control.
Okay, here we go. Well, welcome everybody. Again, my name is Jeremy O'Neill, and it is an honor to be here. As you can see, I'm in my shop attire. Typically, when I roll in the shop, I got my headlamp and my safety glasses on, but I won't wear those during today's class. And got a great program for you. Now, this is something that we're going to go through over the next 45 minutes to an hour that we have been doing in our shop. And 4 years ago, I purchased the worst automotive repair shop in the United States. In 2016, that shop did $143,000 in revenue for the entire year. So it was dead. It was dying and needed help. And we have eclipsed back over $1 million for the last 2 years. So within 2 years, we turned that around to $1 million producing shop. We've just added our second location, and things are just amazing in the center. So if you're in the auto repair industry, you're in a great industry. Customers are spending money on their vehicles. The fleet of vehicles has never been older. We're going to go through that today. And I'm going to show you something that's been working really well for our shop, and our customers are absolutely loving it. Let's see here. Oh, and we got someone from Scotland. Awesome, Nathan. Well, thanks for being here.
That's really cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Glad to have you.
I'm glad I didn't have to get on a plane and travel over there. That's pretty cool. That's awesome, especially nowadays. So I want you to write this down in your notes. Write down the word systems. And here's one of the things that I noticed, jumping back in the business. So here's kind of my life, journey. In 2015, 2016, I was really unsettled. We had a lot of new technology coming out with the digital inspections, digital sales process. And, with Shop-Ware, one of the things that really attracted it to me, I think it was back in 2014, 2015, the first time I saw it, when Carolyn did a demo for me on my phone. And I had the ability to buy now just by pushing the screen. And I actually hit approve. And I was like, whoa, I didn't mean to do that. But the intuitiveness as a consumer is what really drew me to, working and becoming, friends with Carolyn and really helping Shop-Ware develop and move forward from there. But the biggest thing is it was really easy to use and I just loved it. So in 2016, I was teaching and coaching full time. I was traveling 200 days a year. I was kind of tired of being on the road. I have, 3 kids, 16, 13, and 11. I have a beautiful wife at 22 years and I'm going, man, I'm missing it. I remember it was like December 11th and I was in Minneapolis and it was super cold. It was snowing and I was just homesick. And I'm like, okay, that's it. I've got to do something to get me back home. What better way to get back into a shop? So I started looking for a shop to purchase. And the other thing with that is as a trainer, a lot of the material gets stale and old. And I didn't want to keep bringing the same material that we taught in the early 2000s, 2010s to the classroom. So I said, I'm going to go back to work as a shop owner, service advisor, technician, and really bring current and relevant content back to the classroom. And the awesome part of that is I got a ton of content. The bad part is I just don't have the time to share it, but we're going to change that in the last half of 2021. So we're going to talk about next generation sales skills, think systems. And I really think this is where the market is going. So let's move forward and take a look at what we're going to talk about today. First thing for an auto repair shop is this. Service advisor performance is directly related to a shop's profitability. And one of the things that's interesting is I got a new Snap-on toolbox back here I bought last year, and I spent a lot of money with Snap-on. I just love the brand. I love the tools. But something interesting has happened. My local Snap-on driver has added a new rep to the truck. And it's just not clicking for me. And I really feel this disconnect as a consumer that I really don't want to spend any more money with Snap-on because I don't really like the new rep. And what's interesting for auto repair shops is the service advisor is still the face of the company and really handles the transaction from, setting the appointment all the way through to car delivery. And the service advisor's performance with every single car and each client at each client interaction is directly related to a shop's profitability. So make sure that you're increasing your likability with the customers. And if there's somebody that you don't gel with, just slow down a little bit, find out what you can do to build a better relationship with them, because the service advisor has their foot on the gas pedal of the business. So we're going to help you with your individual performance today. Now, we're going to focus on the realm of declined sales. These are the top 3 objections that we get with our coaching program that customers will tell shops all across North America. The first one is this, and I'm sure you may have heard this before. I only want to fix what I came in for. Now, here's what's interesting. When a vehicle breaks, if you understand the money side of a consumer, I don't carry a wallet anymore, but I carry my phone. I've got my digital credit card in my phone, and I have my driver's license and my 2 favorite credit cards right here in the front of my phone. Most Americans do not budget for automotive repair. And when the car breaks, they stop their financial life and they're going to go find the money for the repair. So this is the perfect time to make sure that you're fully disclosing everything that the vehicle needs. Now, what's interesting though, is the consumer's going to fall to the side of, I just want to get the car back on the road and fix it. They're fixed with the component mindset. And you're going to hear this phrase over and over today, component versus system. And there's a big shift in your mindset when you approach repairing a vehicle from a system standpoint versus a component standpoint. And we're going to go deeper into that. So that's one of the first declined objections you're going to get from a customer is I only want to fix what I came in for. The next one, if you do a lot of oil changes, is you're going to hear this one. Just do the oil change. I wasn't planning on doing anything else. We'll do it next time. We'll do it next time. And if you look in your history, that customer has been kicking that can down the road for the last 2 years. And it's time to stop and get them to do something different, which is to take care of their car. And then the third one that we hear a lot of, what will it take to just fix the leak? I'm going to get rid of the car. So getting rid of the car is one that is common, and it's an easy one for customers to get out of the conversation with the advisor and move back on with their life. So one of the things we're going to teach you today is how to put the emphasis on the system attached to the client concern. So when you do an initial write-up with the customer, you always want to pull in their concern. Their concern is what's going to give you the leverage to get out of objection land and get them to want to fix the car and take care of it. And we got some great tools for you today. So those are the top objections we're going to deal with today, and you'll be a pro at handling these after our program today. Next, remember that how you perform will determine your level of success. And this is what's interesting. You can literally write up all those cars on the screen. There's probably 30 or 40 cars up there. And if you hit a home run with one car, so let's say this is an oil change for $75. This is a $150 ticket. This one is $200. This one's $400. This one's $125. So these are all lower tickets where the customer didn't either need anything or didn't want anything, but you hit a big ticket here and you sell $4,000 on that car. That car made your day, but you had to go through all this other work to get to that car. So my thought was this: how do I get all the other cars to say yes to the repairs that they need? Because for me, I hate deferred work. I hate declined sales. Yes, it builds future work, but if it needs to be done, it should be done today. And I'm going to do everything I can to help you get those repairs approved today. So how you perform is definitely going to determine your level of success. Now, I want you to think about this. Think about the profitability of an aging fleet. So you've got to look at the demographics of the cars that you're servicing. And this is something I do every day. I go out to our parking lot and I look, and some days I sit there and I scratch my head and I go, wow, what marketing am I doing to attract that vehicle? When we had an 87 Yugo show up. No, we didn't have an 87 Yugo show up, but you understand what I'm saying. The demographics of the cars that you're servicing can definitely lead to profitability. So let's look at the profitability that's attached to an aging fleet. So this is kind of the mindset behind it too. So the consumer mindset. A car that was built in 2000 to 2005 model year, they may just be in the just keep me on the road. They may have just bought the car for $500 or $1,500. They bring it to your shop for a coolant leak, and all of a sudden it needs $4,500 to get it back on the road. The customer's thinking, man, I'll just go buy 3 more and take my chances with it. I'm not going to fix the car. So that could be a financial one there. So we're trying to move out of getting those cars in our shop. We want to move to a newer demographic because the profitability zone has definitely shifted. So that's 2000 to 2005. Cars that are built in 2005 are literally just about dead. I still have my 2005 Suburban that we tow our travel trailer all over the country. It's got 265,000 miles on it. I think I've put probably $12,000 into this year. And the reason I keep it is they don't make them like that anymore. It's a 3/4 ton with an 8.1 liter V8. And I just don't like the new ones. And I'm not going to go spend $90,000 on a new Suburban. I'll go buy a rental property for that. So, but my 05 is still kicking. And if I brought it to you and I'm a consumer and it needs $15,000 worth of work, I hope that you would ask me to buy everything today, because I probably would go find the money and fix that car. After all of my kids have been raised in that car, and there's a huge emotional attachment to that vehicle. So we can't just, judge based off of the year of the car, but I'm going to show you how we want to get the right cars in to really help the profitability of your shop. Now, moving on. So 2005 to 2010. Okay, these are still good cars. There's a lot of great vehicles there. What I love about the cars that are before 2010, they're not overly complex with a million modules in them, and they're still pretty easy to fix. So 2005 to 2010, they're nearing the end. They're at 150,000 plus miles. They still have some meat on the bone. It's still worth it to fix it. And then right now, 2010 to 2015, right here, cars are about 5 to 7 years old. That is the heart of the profitability zone. These cars, 2015 and newer, are the cars that came out with literally hardly any maintenance on them till 100,000 miles. There were oil changes and tire rotations, maybe a cabin air filter, maybe an air filter. And then realistically, the majority of the work, the bulk of the maintenance work was done at 100,000 miles. And right now, these are the cars, you got to pay attention. When you get a customer that calls in and says, hey, I have a 2017 Ford F-150. and I need to bring it in for a service. Well, what service do you need? I need my 100,000 mile service. Okay, where have you been for the last 3 years, 4 years, and where have you been going to service for the last 100,000 miles? And you're going to find a lot of these cars are leaving the dealership and now coming to the independents, and it could be your first opportunity, and it could very well be a very large ticket. You can't be afraid to ask the customer for everything that it needs at that point. So we're shifting our marketing. We're really targeting 2015 and newer vehicles, and it's going to be a slow progression to get our client base, there. I've got to change some things with the shop, and we're going to see the changes come in. And it's definitely a consumer who demands a really awesome experience. So you'll see how that works. Okay, so 2015 is the profitability zone. And then 2020, the 2020s are here. We're already seeing them in our shop for oil services. These are the new car maintenance plan. And you've got to be an expert on maintenance to know what the dealers are offering, what the customer wants. And I'll show you how to bring all this in. Now, here's the challenge. We don't know what's coming, but here's what I do know. The next 5 years are going to be absolutely amazing. And I hope that what we teach you today helps you really light it on fire and crush your goals. So that's the demographics of cars. Pay attention to them when they come in. Make sure that you have a great conversation with your client at initial write-up about what their plans are for the car, and you'll see how this works out here really well. Okay. All right, no questions, we'll move on. So let's see here, that's our target marketing, and there we go. Now, build your profit. So as a trusted service advisor, your duty for the customer is to help the customer protect the investment they have made in their car and keep it running in the most affordable way. Engine replacements are expensive. Transmissions are expensive. We can prevent those failures and put thousands of dollars back in our customers' pockets if we do the proper maintenance and take care of the vehicle. I am amazed at how neglected vehicles are today. Let's just face it, most people on the planet do not know how to properly maintain a vehicle, and there's a lot of shops that don't know how to properly maintain a vehicle either. So I hope you're one of those shops that does and that you do the job right. So your duty is to do this. You're going to help your customer protect the investment in their vehicle, and then you're going to help them keep it running in the most affordable way. Absolutely. Preventive maintenance, Nathan. That's where it's at. Thanks for the comment. All right. Now, I want you to write this down. Transaction versus relationship. There's a huge difference between the two. We process transactions every single day. In fact, at our shop, we do between 180 to 220 transactions a month. So that's a transaction, that's a repairer, that's your ARO, that's where all those numbers come in. But you know what? At the core of what I do as a service advisor, the transaction is not what I'm focused on. What I'm focused on is the relationship. How can I build a better relationship with my customer, and how can I help them? Because I'm a professional automotive technician. I'm AAC certified. I've been doing this my entire life, my entire working career. I've done, pretty much auto repair, and I owe it to my client base to help them. Okay, I'm not going to put money first. I'm going to put helping them first. The money's going to follow. There's plenty of money there. So we're going to move out of transaction and move into relationship. So think about this. I'll share a quick story with you. So we were on a camping trip about 3 summers ago, and we took this Suburban out, and we went up to Monterey. We had a wonderful campground up there right on the beach at Marina Dunes, and we were heading home. And as we're coming home, we're heading up the Grapevine, which is the Interstate 5 getting into LA. You've got to climb out of Bakersfield and you go up this really steep grade. And I noticed something happened on my Suburban, and the temperature gauge started rising, and it never does it. That thing runs at 210, no matter what I do, air on, air off, towing, not towing. It just is, it's a tank. It's rock solid. I started to see that temperature gauge rise, and I go, uh-oh, what's going on? And so I'm coming up and I go, okay, don't be stupid, Jeremy. You got your family and the dogs with you. Remember, there's a water station up here, pull off. So I just get into the water station, and the thing starts to steam, and it overheated. And here I am. I'm in the business. I'm a technician. I'm stuck on the side of the road, and there's all these trucks going by. It's like 107 degrees. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, great. So what happened is my fan clutch failed. And that's when the light bulb started going off for me with this type of stuff. My fan clutch had failed. Why? Because it was original. It had, it was 3 years ago. So it was 19 years old. It had 220 some thousand miles on it. And then I said, you know what, Jeremy, you need to stop being stupid. I had just put a radiator in that thing like 3 months ago. Why didn't I put the fan clutch on it? Why didn't I go through and do my cooling system? So that's when the light bulb went off on me. And that's when I started to think, you know what? I'm going to move out of component repair, and I'm going to start doing system repairs. And I started working with it as a service advisor, and it started working amazingly well. Now, the transactional client is going to ask you for a price on the component. How much is a fan clutch? Okay, well, I'm not even going to talk to you about pricing on a fan clutch until we have a different conversation. Tell me about your vehicle. How long have you owned it? How long do you plan on keeping it? And Mr. Customer, we have great reviews here at Freedom Auto Repair. One of the things we want to do is do an initial consultation with you if this is your first time. Can you bring me all your service records? Come in tomorrow morning. We'll do a root cause analysis on why your vehicle overheated, why you need a fan clutch, look at the cooling system and the other systems on your car, and let's build a good relationship so you can save money long-term. Is that something you're interested in? That's a different conversation than telling that customer a fan clutch is $375.22, or we can't give you a price until we look at your car. Customers are craving this interaction today. They're looking for businesses that care about them, but execute at a very high tech, high efficiency, speed of service mindset. They want us to know that their car is about to break down and send them a text that says, hey, don't go on that trip, run it into freedom tomorrow. There's a lurking problem that's going to break down over the weekend. We're going to fix it before it breaks. If you could be that shop, you'd have so many clients. It's crazy. So we're going to move out of transaction. We're going to move into relationship. Let's look at some tools to help you do that. Okay, initial write-up. Slow down an initial write-up. Even if it's an online appointment, you have all the information and you don't need to interview the customer. You still need to slow down and have a great conversation with them, because initial write-up is where your sale is going to be made. The way that you connect with your customer up front is key. Get as much information as you can. Right now, we're right in the beginning of summer. It's the perfect time to ask the customer what their plans are for the summer. Do you have any trips coming up? That way you can get the full inspection and make sure that that car is totally taken care of and that they're not going to have any problems on the road. So this is where you build the relationship. Service history. At initial write-up, I want to have a conversation with the customer about their service history, okay? Service history is key, not just what your shop has, but I love to go in and look at, the Carfax service history. And I'm not promoting Carfax. I just love it because I want to know, when was that timing belt done? Did you do your front brakes? What's been done? Have you done a brake fluid exchange? So the service history is key. Now, here's the thing. There's three things that asking for the service history is going to do. Number one, it's going to build a confidence. It's going to help strengthen that relationship. Number two, it's going to remove the fear that auto repair consumers have that you're going to sell me something that I don't need. And we hear that all the time. It's a very scary world with auto repair. And then number three, it gives your customers the peace of mind knowing you're going to take really good care of their car and not duplicate a repair that's been done in the past. One of the things that I hate selling, I hate even asking for it, are air filters and cabin air filters. Unless I can physically see it, those are the two things that are oversold. Every time a customer goes to a quick lube, they're asked to buy an air filter and a cabin air filter, and they're conditioned, on that premise. So that's one of the things that I want to remove. I want to know the service history on the car. If you don't have access to the Carfax service history, it is very affordable and it is a great tool for you to be able to get and use on a daily basis because it answers the questions on what's been done. You can also see the patterns on the vehicle. You want to talk about diagnosing vehicles, fixing broken cars, you should know the oil that's been in the car. What type of oil filter's been in it? Have you changed your oil regularly? Cars are crazy today. They're really complex beasts and machines, and they take a lot to fix. So get the service history. One other note on the service history is this. When you're booking the appointment, ask the customer to bring in their service records. That's going to trigger a different thought from the customer. And that is, nobody's ever asked me that before. Why are you asking me that? And then it leads right into building the relationship. So ask these customers to bring in their service history. And remember, it's not a drop off. We're going to schedule you for your initial consultation on your first time through. So that's two ways to really separate yourself from your competition. Next, one of the most important things I teach you is understanding your customer's vehicle timeline. Now, this graphic is amazing. We use it at our counter every single day. This is going to unlock the questions of, do I need it now? What needs to be done? So for instance, let me just share with you how you use this. The first question you're going to ask is, how long have you owned the vehicle? Okay, I've had my 05 Suburban since it was brand new. In fact, I bought it on July 5th, 2005. It had 5 miles on it. And how long do you plan on keeping it? Well, I'm definitely going to keep it probably for the next 3 to 5 years, and I want to go to 350,000 miles on it. Now, the mileage target right here. Okay, so I'm going to go to 350 right over here. I'm at 265. So I'm 3/4 of the way through, or 2/3 of the way through my timeline. Okay. Now, this is the important thing about the timeline. This helps the customer understand when they should invest the money. If I need to spend $2,000 on suspension work, should I do it now or should I wait to 300,000 miles? I should do it now because I'm going to get the maximum ROI. I want to talk in terms of ROI for the customer, or return on investment. And that's what this tool helps. Let's say you have a new customer, they have a 2000 Honda CRV with 30,000 miles on it. Okay. Let's say that they plan on keeping it and they want to go to 100,000 miles. Great. You've just identified that they're just beyond 25%. And there's certain maintenance items that are going to come up in the next, 2-3 years that you can help them get pre-scheduled. Also, what are they going to do with the car when they get rid of it? Think about beyond the timeline and help them enhance the resale value on the car so they can put thousands of dollars back in their pocket, not give it to the dealership when they trade the car in. So there's a wonderful world that you have. In our 2 or 3 day live program, we spend about 4 hours going through the timeline, role playing it, practicing it. It's a great tool. It's a great conversation starter up front so you can build good relationships with your customers and set the sale up. If you want a copy of this timeline, you'll have my email address at the end of today's program. Shoot me an email with your logo and I will be sure to customize it and send it back to you so you can print it, get it laminated, and use it at the counter. It is an amazing tool that will help you in the future. Okay, so that's understanding the vehicle timeline. Now, the other thing is this: nothing drives me crazy more than a car that is not properly inspected. I hate it when a customer approves $1,500 or $2,500 worth of work, and then for whatever reason, the next day we're out at the shop and we go, oh my gosh, it needs rear brakes, or it needs this, or there's just something that got overlooked. So one of the things you're going to want to do is to randomly audit your vehicle inspections and ensure that the vehicle is properly inspected. There are so many things, so many online tools that you can have to do a proper inspection. Just do some research and make sure that you're inspecting every car properly and meeting the client's expectations. Now, we're going to get into building systems here in just a minute, but let me go through this real quick. Once the inspection's done, you want to deliver the results of the inspection to the testing. So how you deliver the results of the inspection can determine the level of success that you realize. We are an industry that is really slow to adopting new technologies. The auto repair industry is about 10 years behind technology. So if you went to downtown San Francisco, your mind would probably just explode with the way things are up there. It's a different world. And what I mean by that is service advisors still want to pick up the telephone and call customers. And that's not how people communicate today. If you tried to call my cell phone, my voicemail is full. I have no intention of clearing it. I have no intention of listening to a voicemail. And for me, I just don't invest the time in listening to voicemail. If you have my cell phone, send me a text. I'd much rather communicate with you via text than phone. So if my car was in the shop and you called me and said, hey, this is so-and-so at We're Really Old Auto Repair, could you please give us a call to go over the results of your inspection? I'd be like, whoa, that was like from 4 months ago. I already picked up my car. I want to see the results of the inspection here. I want to see pictures, videos. I want to be able to chat with your technician. I want to do everything right from my phone because that's how I live. And the same thing with my wife. She's no different. So here's the most important thing. It's not cut and dry for every client, but you've got to match your client's preferred style of communication. And you have to ask for this at initial write-up. Do you want a text message, an email, phone call, or do you want to come down in person and discuss the details? Because there's many different ways that we can do this. So make sure that you're delivering the results via the right platform. And then remember, does the customer want to view the results on their phone, email, text, in person, or a phone call? Get that up front and you'll see how it changes your selling career. Next, we have labeled this a helpful conversation. This is not a sales presentation. I just had an advisor that lasted about 7 days, and then I decided to fire him. And if you have heard, my reputation is I fire really quick, but I just feel that I have high standards. And the one thing that he could not get over, and I sat him down, he watched about 12 hours of training videos and really got our culture and all this, but he kept going and just saying, let me sell that, let me sell that, let me sell that. It would drive me crazy. Like, we don't sell here, we help people. So instead of thinking of this as a sales presentation, think of it as a helpful conversation. So instead of having a sales presentation with the customer, what's the difference of having a helpful conversation? So you want to help the customer, and that's basically where we're at. So keep that phrase in mind. You'll see how this works out. Okay, and then selling the system. So your presentation is going to be based on the information you gather from write-up. So when we talk about systems, I'm going to move into the digital world, and I'm going to show you numbers. We're going to talk real numbers. We're going to build a real estimate. I'm going to show you the difference in fixing a component, because I have a car that just came in the shop. We're going to build the repair on it. I'm going to show you how we're going to present this. And it's going to be based on the information that you gather from write-up. How long does the customer want to keep the car? If they're only going to keep it for 6 months and they want to just, get it fixed to get back on the road to sell it, that's a different presentation than the customer wants to keep it for 5 more years and put another 100,000 miles on the vehicle. Okay, so let's take a look at what we're going to do. Why are we going to sell in systems? Okay, when a component fails, it typically means there is something in the system causing the failure. And many shops and technicians will simply put a component on and not address the root cause of the failure in the system, and it causes problems down the road long-term for the client. So you see these pictures up here. This rust in this cooling system is a huge problem. If you have a hose that is bad, it's not just one hose. The customer needs to re-hose the car. They need to change all of the hoses. In fact, that entire cooling system, including the heater core, may need to be changed. And if you don't change that heater core, I guarantee you, if it's got that type of rust in it, that car is probably going to be back before summer with a bad heater core. So systems is key. So remember, we want to get to the root of the failure and find out why the component failed. And then let's look at selling the system now. So I'll show you that. These are the top 3 systems that I focus on. So when you first begin this, here's what we're going to do. Start looking for these areas. Cooling systems, hoses, water pumps, overheating issues. All that has to deal with the cooling system. It's one of the most important parts, especially going into summer for the vehicle. 2, steering and suspension system. Okay. If tie rod ends are bad, there's other components that are behind it. If you have lower control arm bushings that are bad, please don't put the old lower ball joints back on. Sell the system. I'll show you how we do that. And then the next one is, when you're dealing with check engine light diagnosis, you could have something in the cooling system affecting that, and we need to address the system. Okay, so let's look at a couple different things here. I'm gonna jump out of the presentation real quick, and we're gonna jump online. And we're going to go do an estimate here. And I'm going to build a new estimate. And look at the vehicle I've got here. Let's go with, I'm going to pick this. Let's go with a 2004. Okay, so we've got an 04 Sienna van, and let's say this thing's got 212,000 miles on it. Okay, in fact, we actually have one of those live. I'm just going to pop the VIN in off of this so I can do this real quick. Here we go. Okay, so this is a live car that we're actually working on today. And notice this picture right here. Okay, customer came in for a coolant leak. Hey, I need to find out why my vehicle is leaking coolant. Dude, it's not leaking coolant. Like, it is a waterfall of coolant coming out of your vehicle. Like, as soon as I put it in, it just dumps out. Like, the plants are like, yay, it's Southern California, there's water. We don't care if it has, coolant in it, we'll drink it. But just look at this picture. You've got corrosion here that has been building up on this for years. Now, this can even happen in newer cars that are 5, 6, 7 years old. So what happened is one of the heater hose tees broke, and I want to address the system on this car. Now, here's going to be the challenge. The difference between a component replacement repair and a system repair is going to be thousands of dollars. And I'm just going to be brutally honest with you up front. The fear I have as a shop owner is if we hit the customer too hard and ask them to spend $4,000 on this cooling system, they're going to pull the car and we're not going to get anything up. But that's why you give your customer choices. So we're going to build a couple different options here. Now, one of the things that we have to identify is how many hoses are there. So you've got heater hoses, you got bypass hoses, you got upper and lower hose. But what I want to pay attention to is this: how do we help a customer? How is it in the customer's best interest to fix the system rather than fix the component? The worst thing that we could do for this customer is to fix that leak and not address the system. Because as soon as we fix that leak and the customer leaves, that system is going to back under proper operating pressure. It's going to work on the next weakest link, and he may have to return 17 different times to fix an individual leak. I want to have a conversation with the customer. I want to get ahead of it, and I want to make sure that he understands we need to fix the system. This is a system repair, not just a component repair. Okay, so let's look at how do we build the system. Okay, so here is the basic breakdown of the component repair. Now, what I'm going to do, and I hope the customer doesn't see this while we're doing this because I'll get in trouble, but I don't care. It's my shop. I can do what I want. Remove and replace heater hose assembly. So the component repair here is about $700. Okay, either at $759.92. We got to add some coolant, so they're going to be about $800 just to get the car back on the road. And I'm not going to take those things apart and piece them back together. I'm changing the whole assembly back there. If that system, if those heater hoses are in this condition, I guarantee you there's another thing we need to look at, and that's going to be the radiator. So let's go in here and let's put in a price on a radiator. So we'll do radiator R&R. There we go. So let's just say it has that, and we're going to do upper, and we're going to add the lower hose as well. Okay. And there we go. So I got the upper and lower radiator hose and a radiator in there, and we're going to sync our pricing. And there's the remove and replace radiator. Now, here's one thing I want to point out real quickly. You've got to be careful on this. The psychology of today's consumer. Understand this. I don't want to have 10 things for them to decide here. So do you want to do the heater hose assembly? Yes or no? Well, how much is it? It's $700 and some dollars. Yeah, we can afford that. Let's do it. Okay. My technician also noted that your radiator is original. There's also corrosion coming from the hoses. So those are the next weakest link. That's the next repair that we should do. Do you want to do the radiator? Well, how much is that? Well, that's $963. Oh my gosh, that's too expensive. Nope, we don't want to shut down. So that's a no. Once the customer goes no and goes negative, they're not going to come back to green. So I'm going to show you how to package this. So let's build this individually, and then we'll show you how to price it out properly. So let's next do water pump. And I just know where this is going to go, but we're going to pop that on there. And the other thing we're going to do is a thermostat. Okay, so there's a thermostat there. And there we go. And boom. And that's fine there. Next. Okay, now I got to go over here. And this is, see, this is beautiful. If you know what component I'm talking about here, chat it out, and it's just amazing. Has a timing belt been done? When was the timing belt done? That's the critical link here is, you know, at 155,000, is it the original timing belt? So that should be done too. What if they did the timing belt and the water pump at 100,000 miles? Then they don't necessarily need to do it. So let's just say for the reasons of today's, well, let's do this. Oh, actually, I don't have that on this page. But let's just say that they haven't done the timing belt. So they need the timing belt and water pump. So now I'm going to go in here and I'm going to build my timing belt component kit. And let's see here. And it doesn't matter what vendor you use, just make sure you're using high quality parts. That's the biggest thing. Let's see here. Okay, so we'll just go into timing kit. All right, so here we go. I'm going to bring this over. Send parts info over. There we go. Now I've got my timing belt kit here with my water pump, and I can put all my coolant in here. Okay, so this is where we're going with this. I'm going to basically show you how to wrap all this up. Let me just do a check on our time. We're doing great on time, but I do need to wrap this up here pretty quick. So I hope you get the understanding of where I'm going. I'm going to show you how to price this all together. Okay, Nathan, I'll come back to that here in just a second. Okay, so let's look at individual. Now this is, I'm going to show you a spreadsheet here. And I want to show you where the beauty of your helpfulness comes in. If you start to analyze this and you study the amount of money you can save your customers, it is absolutely staggering that the savings can actually help pay for the repair. So if you look at this, if we're going to do the upper and lower hose, the radiator, the heater hoses, thermostat, bypass hose, water pump, belt, and the tensioner, drain and flush cooling system, if you add all this labor up individually right here in column B, you're at 11.9 hours. If I combine it, because of the overlapping nature of working on the car at one time and I'm doing a system repair, you're going to save time and money. So individually, that's what it adds up to. If I do it as a package right here, I'm at 8 hours. I'm going to save my customer 3.9 hours and I'm going to save $585. Now that's the number you've got to grab onto. And I'm going to show you how to build that in here real quick. So we've got the water pump and time belt, we've got the radiator, we've got the upper and lower hoses, we've got the thermostat. So now what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to do this option number 1, component repair, replace heater hose. Okay. And I've got to add coolant in here. So I'm going to make this a real job that we're going to sell. And there's your coolant right there. So let's just say that we're going to do, let's just say it's 8.99. Let's do 8. That's better. There we go. Okay, now that's option 1. Next is going to be option number 2. Repair cooling system includes. And I'm going to type out whatever is radiator, coolant, hoses, heater, hoses, T-stat, flush, and timing. I'm just going to abbreviate for the sake of time today. 5-year warranty. Savings of okay, so there we go. So now I'm going to take all of this and I'm going to, let's just say that the time that we need to do this, we've got 2.4, 6.8, 7, 9.3. Okay. Plus a heater is a 2 hours. So we have 11 hours if we do this all individually. So if we have overlapping labor, I'm going to do this whole entire job for 8.5 hours. Okay, so there's my labor. Now I've got to bring all my parts in, and I'm going to bring all my parts up right here. There we go. There we go. And I have to type in hose clamp. There we go. And let's just say we use 12 of those there. And then now I delete all this. Okay, now, but what I have to do, this is the one thing I can't forget. I've got to go in and I've got to do the heater hose assembly. So as I go into part and Toyota, let's see if we save that. And if we didn't, I'll have to talk with my advisor. Okay, so now we are looking at, I'm at a $2,600 package versus my $750 sale here. Now, here's what you do. You convert these to a service, a recommendation, convert this to recommendation. I publish these. There's your options right there. So now instead, I'm looking at, do I want to spend $750 to get the car back on the road? But no, I've just disclosed you need everything else. And now you need $2,600 worth of stuff. Let's see. I don't think I have the radiator on here though. Yep, I do. Yeah, so we're fine. So that's your price difference. Now the customer can decide, do they want to do it all or not? Now here's the beauty. If they keep the car for 2 years, 24 months, take $2,800 divided by 24, and that gives you a grand total of $116.67 per month as an investment in this repair. So this system works amazing well. Here's what's happening. Not every customer is going to go for this. Some will. We're at about a 65% closing ratio doing this. I want to show the customer this, and I'm also going to give them a larger warranty on the repairs. You can choose to do that or not. You've got to decide with management what's right for your shop. But this is where I believe the market's moving. We've done it with suspension systems. If a customer comes in, they've got an alignment issue, and it's pulling to the right, and it's got a bad ball joint on the right side. On Chevy trucks, we're doing upper and lower control arms, both sides. We're doing the linkage, we're doing the rack and pinions, we're doing front and rear struts as a package. Some of these packages are $4,000 to $5,000, but guess what? When the customer gets the car back, they are so happy and so thankful that we took care of it. The car runs amazingly well. It's absolutely amazing how that works. Okay, let's see here. So that's the selling the system right there. Let me just check on time, and then I got it. Yep, we're just about done. Let me just give you a couple more pieces of housekeeping real quick, and then I'll open it up to questions. My contact info is right there. So there's my website's advisorfix.com. My cell phone is the 951-532-0487. Please text. If you do call, don't leave a voicemail. I won't return it. Or you can email me at jeremy@advisorfix.com, but definitely texting is the best way. There you can see me at our shop with two very happy customers and our huge parking lot on the side of the shop up here in the high desert of Southern California. So let's see, David, I'll bring you back on. Is there anything you had questions on or anything you wanted to chat about, sir, before we turn them loose?
I just had one question. Can you talk a little bit just about how you present that repair order to them? Like, are you emailing it to them calling on the phone to discuss? Are you simply just sending it to them and letting them respond? Like, how are you presenting and having a conversation with the customer?
I like to just blindside them with technology. So I'll text them and email them, and then I watch them. Two things are going to happen. They're either going to approve it, or they're going to pick up the phone and call and be like, what in the world are you talking about? I brought my car in for a hose and it's $3,000. You guys are nuts. And I'm like, great, I'm here to help. So yeah, I send it out via text. I'll text it right there. And I'm not going to do that now because I don't know how accurate I am. I don't know my advisor talked to this customer about because this is a live job. And I'll email it to them. So I send it via text and email first, and then we take it from there. And then if a customer is asking for a phone call, we'll just call them when they're ready for it. But yeah, this works really well. The approvals over there are amazing. Let's see here.
Do you find that a lot of the time customers are just clicking approve? And let me ask you this, if they click option 1, are you calling them back and trying to have a conversation about option 2, or are you just going with what they said initially?
No, we do a follow-up phone call just to let them know, hey, David, it's Jeremy over at Freedom. Just want to let you know, I saw that you approved option number 1 on the heater hose replacement. We're going to go and get that going. We should have it ready tomorrow for you by the end of the day. I'm just curious, did you have any questions on the 2 different packages that we had planned for you? And then that's where you open the question up right there. And then the questions are going to come in, and inevitably they'll walk themselves into the bigger one. Now, the other thing I didn't go through is use a checklist, get the red stuff on there, and then get more pictures. We should have a picture of the radiator cap, the hoses. You got to have some more visual evidence to really help push the larger sales out there. It works really well.
I'm just curious if you could do this, like, are you open to, like, when this is over, building this out, and then maybe we can share it with the group?
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's something
you mean as far as follow it live?
No, like I'm just saying, like, if you want to add the pictures and build this out completely how you would do it, and then you just email it to me through Shop-Ware, like I can make a PDF of it, and maybe we could share that with those that attended.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd be happy to do that. And then cool. I'll share the results too.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. I thought there was one question or a comment from Nathan. Any other questions from the group? Yes, this will be recorded, and you guys can just shoot me an email. My email is in all the follow-up emails that go out at the follow these webinars.
Nathan, thanks for your feedback, man. I really appreciate that. And if I'm ever in your neck of the woods, I'll look you up, brother.
All right. It doesn't look like we have any other comments or questions, Jeremy, but I really appreciate, and I do a presentation sometimes called Showcasing Your Shop's Technical Expertise. And I think, we are very much about here at Shop-Ware is how you're communicating and how you're having conversations with the customer. I think that's super important, and how you're presenting information. And, your repair order is an employee of your shop, so to speak, right? It's customer facing. It's what they're seeing. It's a reflection of who you are, and I think how you present the work is definitely a major component of whether or not that work gets sold. A oil smudged piece of paper that you're handing to your customer that's been around your shop for the last 2 or 3 days and has dog ears and coffee and ketchup on it, and asking them then for, $3,000 is much different than what you just put out here and described. So
It's crazy when I bring new advisors and they're like, okay, where's the repair orders? And I'm like, what do you mean? Well, where's the rack and we don't print that. We're digital. What do you mean you're digital? Everything's on my phone. Watch. I just dispatched 4 tickets to Dusty. He knows which order they need to do it in, and the stuff comes back. I don't do pay. I hate paper. And it's so hard to get out of that mindset of where's the physical asset, right? It's like, I want to, print all my repair orders and write stuff down. You don't have to. It's just, and that's when I talked about that in today's program was customers want the shop that has the technical expertise, and they want the technology to be able to do things at the speed of their life. It's not waiting for an advisor to call back with, do you have a minute? They want to be able to just do it the way they normally shop. And I just am so thankful that Shop-Ware's helped us do that for sure.
awesome. Well, what you did today was really impressive. And anybody that didn't attend is going to miss out for sure. So we'll make sure to get this up on YouTube. I think if we do this again, we're going to charge for it. That was awesome. I mean,
Awesome.
what you put together was really, really great. So
Cool.
I really appreciate it. If anybody has any follow-up questions, or you need to get a hold of Jeremy, you need to get a hold of me, shoot me an email. I'm always in your inbox after these webinars. So have an awesome rest of the day, Jeremy.
Awesome, Dave.
And we will talk soon. I really, really appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.